Gayatri Agal and welcome to my page. എല്ലാവർക്കും എൻ്റെ പേജിലോട്ട് സ്വാഗതം. Today I would like to discuss with you all about 25th of March 2023 OET exam, in which I'm going to detail explain about OET writing. So what was the case note? It was an unknown letter, a letter written by a nurse who is writing a letter to a community nurse. Okay, so the patient name was James Mackey, who is 76 years old and has been recently diagnosed with gastric cancer. Thereby, patient has undergone partial gastrectomy procedure. Later on, patient was shifted to nasogastric tube feeding followed by jejunostomy pump feeding, and staples were removed. Patient showed good improvement in his condition. However, patient wants an assistance at home to look after himself, as he is living on his own and he is a divorcee. And also he is a regular alcoholic person who is drinking 2 to 3 standards of glasses in a day. And regarding the social background of the patient, past medical history, patient was seen by his own GP due to indigestion complaints as well unintentional weight loss. Thereby the GP was recommended CT scan, gastroscopy, and also patient has undergone a biopsy. So these all are the investigation have been revealed that patient is having stomach cancer, which means gastric cancer. Thereby the patient has undergone for the gastrectomy on 26th of December 2022. As usual, in the letter they have given today's date as 8th of January 2023. Thereby we are writing a letter to a community nurse to monitor his wound infection and also to monitor his pump feeding, and also has an appointment with a dietitian in 1 month interval. Okay, so this is the overall case note of James Mackey. Now, how to write a letter? As it is an unknown case, we can write it all the history which is important to the patient, also the nurse what she has to know about the patient. Okay, so now we'll start with the OET writing. So the first thing is writing a date of the patient. So the today's date in the letter they have given 8th of January 2023. So as usual we are writing on the top of the letter, on the top of the paper near to the margin. Next we are coming to the addressing person. So who is the addressing person? It is a community health nurse. In case if they have given the name, you have to start with the name. If they not given in the name, so you have to start with the community nurse, and then we are writing the address one by one. Now next thing is coming to the salutation. So salutation is dear nurse, or dear, if the name has given you can write to the surname. And then we are writing patient name Mr. James Mackey and his date of birth. If they given, you can write a date of birth, or else you can write the age of the patient. It is 76 years old. Now come to the point of an introduction. So introduction is the heart of the letter. So introduction has to be a bit more clear, and also it has to be short and sweet. To make an introduction, we need 3 points: patient full name, purpose, and what is the diagnosis of the patient. So here we can start like this: Mr. James Mackey, who is recovering from partial gastrectomy followed by gastric cancer, full stop. We can, following a gastric cancer, full stop. We are just writing the purpose. He requires your dietary monitoring and post-operative ongoing care and management. So like that we can write. So Mr. James Mackey, who is recovering from partial gastrectomy following a gastric cancer, full stop. He requires your dietary monitoring and post-operative ongoing care and management. So this is the way of writing an introduction. We can write in a different way also, but the main theme should be patient diagnosis and the purpose. Okay, now coming to the point of your present medical history paragraph. So as I said earlier when I was discussed about the case note, patient initially met by his GP and then he has undergone for multiple investigation. There only they have diagnosed. So this has to be started from this place. So we can write the present medical history paragraph. Mr. Mackey initially seen by his GP due to unintentional weight loss and indigestion. Therefore he has undergone, you can write he has undergone CT scan, gastroscopy and biopsy. Unfortunately, the investigations were revealed gastric cancer. So followed by gastric cancer, what happened to the patient? Followed by gastric cancer, patient underwent partial gastrectomy on 26th of December 2022. Thereby, this is the first initial passage of the present medical history paragraph. Now we are entering into the post-operative management. Post-operatively, Mr. Mackey has been initiated with NG tube feeding followed by jejunostomy pump feeding, and staples were removed, and Mr. Mackey showed a good improvement in his condition. However, he requested a assistance to monitor his wound infection and dietary pattern and jejunostomy pump feeding. Now this is the present medical history of Mr. Mackey. So this is so much enough for the Mackey to write to the community nurse. So first one, initially seen by a GP, and what is the problem and how he was diagnosed and which day he gone for the surgery and what happened to his post-operative period. So these are all things one by one in an organized way, in a concise and clarity manner we have to write it. Now coming to the social background. So Mackey is what? Mackey is a divorcee and he lives on own, and he is a regular alcoholic, and he drinks 2 to 3 standards of glasses in a day. So that's more than enough about social background of Mr. Mackey. And now coming to the point of recommendation paragraph. So 3 main points or recommendation paragraph they have given. One is a community nurse must be monitored the jejunostomy pump feeding until the patient's caloric intake is satisfactory. And second thing is she has to monitor the wound infection, signs of wound infection. And the last thing, patient has a dietitian appointment in 1 month interval. So how we can write? As usual, we can start. In view of the above, it would be greatly appreciated if you could monitor Mr. Mackey's jejunostomy feeding until monitor the jejunostomy feeding until his calorie intake is satisfactory. Second thing, it would be beneficial if you could assess his wound for any signs of infection. Then last thing is, most importantly, Mr. Mackey has an appointment with a dietitian in 1 month interval. That's it. So these are the recommendations. Now coming to the point of conclusion, please contact me for further details. In case if they have given the name of the patient, name of the addressing person, you can wind up the letter with yours sincerely. If they not given, only the designation has been given, you can write yours faithfully. So it was a very simple letter. Writing a letter to a community nurse, it is a completely unknown case. So we have to concentrate on how the patient was diagnosed and what was the next plan of the patient, how the patient has undergone for the surgery, post-operatively what happened, and what this community nurse has to do after being discharged of the patient. So this was a very simple letter. I hope you all have done in a very good way, and all the best for your upcoming exams. And whomever wants to participate in our classes, want to take classes, our number has given in our description. You can contact us at any time. We have 40 days, 50 days, 60 days and mock batches, and 10 days class of writing and speaking alone. So these all our classes are running under online. So you can contact us at any time. So until then, bye bye.